So to kick things off tonight, I just wanted to do a little exercise with you guys. Hands up if you know what country the ingredients came from that you ate in your lunch today. Hands up if you know anything about the people or the person who grew or produced the food that you ate today. Hands up if you want to know this information and it's bloody frustrating every time you go to a supermarket and you're like, I have no idea what I'm buying. Okay, so lots of hands going up tonight. People like us who are asking these questions, who are trying to find out, where did my food come from? Where was it grown? What the hell is inside it? And where do I get more information about it? Are actually having a really, really big impact on the industry. It's also the reason why us at the Youth Food Movement are able to have events like this, and we can be confident that people will actually buy tickets and actually take the time to come tonight. And that's why we were inspired to create this movie tonight, Sourced, which we'll be showing for you guys. Who are the farmers? Who's feeding Sydney? What do we know about them? What's their livelihood like? How does it affect them when I buy something or I don't buy something?
Sourced very much for me was born out of a desire to know what was going on in our own backyard. There's a huge number of people out there who really are challenging the status quo, and the story that we often hear about agriculture, it's actually really very different, and there's not really been anything produced here in Australia for us to know what is actually going on.
So the mics, the projector, the screen, all of that is being powered 100% by these amazing people who are riding their bikes, and there's a shirts off moment happening already, so I think that maybe we need some subs at some point.
We just wanted to do a project where we combined organic farming and a social approach to the consumer. I think there is a big lack of consciousness in the society, and people don't know really where things come from, why they buy things, why, if they really need it or not, and I think this is the most important thing to tackle.
I would be what you classify as a large-scale farmer. Our cereal cropping enterprise is double the size of a normal Australian farm, so it's 7,000 acres. The cities started to push, or just, more people were asking for something that supported young people on the land. They would realise that this was a national priority, having people coming back and entering the agricultural industry, and that would be where some ground could be made. But at the moment, the voting population in the bush is very small.
Living in cities, most people are unaware, oblivious, out of sight, out of mind, don't understand where their food comes from and haven't even thought about it. So what I see is a real positive is that our students are coming from the cities and that they're understanding the important role that the country plays in maintaining the cities. The most important thing about the people who are here tonight is that we start to bring the country into the city. Because at the moment, from what I see in the country, there's this real, those greenies from the city trying to tell us what to do. And as Tegan just said, they're absolutely doing some wonderful things for sustainability.
It's definitely inspired a lot of people, particularly some really interesting conversations that we were having just after the screening and after the discussion of what other facets there are to such a big issue and such a big cause.
And how to support the local farmers as well, and maybe things you haven't really thought about before, like how you can actually grow your own farm and just be supportive and actually choose the 20 cents more expensive milk because you make a big difference in the end of the day.
Well, we're all part of the Sydney Uni Community Garden, and so I think that sort of letting the people that are also part of it know about the youth food movement will be the first step that we'll take.
I was especially interested to hear from Tegan, who was the girl who works on the large scale farm, because what I thought was really interesting, specifically that the guy who works on the small farm was saying is you don't have to point fingers of blame at anyone, whereas I'm always like, Coles and Woolworths, I hate you. But it's no, actually everyone's just trying to do a good thing.
Youth food movement is just taking a great responsibility and organizing these fun events and here talk about and meet like-minded people.
I'm actually very proud to have seen the preview, the screening of the Sourced, and it should be shared by as many people as possible, because when people just go to the Coles and Woolies and they just do their grocery and they think that's it, that's not it.
it was great. I think these events are amazing. It obviously gets people talking. I think it inspires people. It's all about what happens from here on in.
I was, as you say, just blown away. I didn't know what to expect. I thought it would be a kind of small, group of people that came to this thing, and it was huge.
I really like the movie. I kind of consider myself a bit of a foodie person, and I like to think about where my food comes from, but I never thought it'd be so easy to actually hear those stories and meet with the people who actually grow the food.
And Costa, you've been doing our organic waste tonight, so how did you think things went tonight?
Look, I suppose the thing I loved the most was that you had the farmers talking about the importance of the role of farmers, and what Youth Food Movement is doing is saying, let's put farmers number one.
So Julian, what did you think of the panel discussion? As someone who works in the industry, you run a food box scheme.
Yeah, well, I think, this is something that we're working on all the time, so it's really exciting to see such a huge room full of people really passionate and interested about the same thing and discussing all the issues around it.
All of us showing up like this shows that there is a real food movement going on in Sydney, and we are all part of it, and you are all part of the Youth Food Movement family. So it's about us city-siders doing our bit and I guess securing our food future. So thank you everyone for coming.